What's the best way to bounce back after a really discouraging flight lesson?
How can I afford flight training when instructor rates have jumped to over $100 an hour in some areas? How much does location really matter when choosing where to train?
Welcome to the Aviation Mentors Podcast, the podcast that takes your dreams of flight and turns it into reality.
Sponsored by Strass Financial, financing your flight training.
For pilots, by pilots. I'm Brandon Martini, a commercial pilot and flight instructor.
And I'm Carson Vasquez, I'm a private pilot.
Whether you're a seasoned pilot or beginner with dreams of flight,
Aviation Mentors is your source for expert insights, industry trends, and inspiring stories.
So fasten your seatbelts and prepare for this incredible journey through the skies.
And stay connected with us on social media for exclusive content.
And visit our website at www.aviationmentors.com and let us be your co-pilot on this adventure.
Welcome back, everybody, to another awesome and, of course, amazing episode of the Aviation Mentors Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we've got more listener questions. It's one of our favorite episodes to do. And you'll notice we're still in green from our St. Patrick's Day recording because we have to record two today.
What are you doing next week that we can't record an episode? You got plans? You got
Yes.
something more important than the Aviation Mentors Podcast?
Well, actually, we can
No,
do
go
it on
ahead.
Thursday afternoon if you want.
Go ahead and
Do you want to come in here Thursday afternoon?
No, we don't do afternoon episodes for a reason, actually. We
Carson
tried-
doesn't like traffic.
No, the traffic I hate either way. Don't get me wrong, but we've decided that any afternoon episodes just don't sound as good.
Yeah.
Because we're energetic in the morning, we're hyped up,
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
just like that. Like we just have energy and we're excited and we're happy to talk. And then we do an afternoon episode starting at like 3 p.m. But we've just been talking all day. We've been in meetings. Brandon's grumpy. He's getting old, and it's just not as good of an episode. So we're like, okay, morning episodes only. If we have to, we can't record the next week. We'll do 2 or 3 in a row just so we can get the energy going for you guys.
You know why we do also in the morning?
Because traffic, I hate traffic.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough.
By the way, I found my my media, my buttons again.
Speaking of that episode, we just passed the 2-year mark. I got a memory on my phone where Brandon and I were, hanging out and we're singing that song together in the
That's funny.
Philippines on our
In the
our trip.
Philippines.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a cool trip.
that one came up on your memories from today on my phone. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. So 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it today. How can I afford flight training when instructor rates have jumped to over $100 an hour in some areas? And just for a preference, or not a preference, but a preface on this, when I first started learning how to fly, my instructor rates just in 2014 were, I think, $30 an hour. I was paying $30 an hour to instructors. And I know my instructors themselves were getting paid $15 or $17 per hour. Like that's how much they were getting paid, not how much I was paying. I was paying about double that to my flight school. Yeah. I know they're 65 and 75, I
Like,
think,
back
in
in my
Riverside right
day.
now.
That was-
Back in my day, but that was a
was
decade
a-
ago. Oh, wow. That's a long time. More than a decade
I
ago.
like the way you said that.
More than a decade ago. Yes.
I like that a lot.
Back when things were cheaper in my day.
Oh man, Instagram just came up with this feature where you can look at your likes based on order of oldest to newest. So I went through it last night and I saw likes from 2014,
Wow.
like 2016, and times have changed in the last decade.
I know they have.
That decade's crazy.
Decade is crazy. All right,
yeah,
back to the
so-
question.
Times change, and so do prices. Prices go up like crazy. In Riverside, like Brand said, it's about 65, 70. I've seen it as high as 80 at some schools. And what are you supposed to do? And one of the options, of course, is if you're paying $100 an hour, and that adds up real quick, right? You're getting
Also,
going over 100 hours. That's how much?
I also want to tell you this. 10 years ago, when things were cheaper, right? Or 12 years ago, whatever it was, it might be really expensive today, but also wages have gone up drastically. I know some people are going to argue, well, they haven't gone up quite enough, which is probably correct. I bet you're right on there. But I will tell you, when I was in high school, which was 20 years ago at this point, when I got my first job was 20 years ago, I made like $5.50 an hour for minimum wage. And now it's around $20 an hour. for minimum wage, at least at Subway. That's where I worked. That was my first job. Newsflash, everybody. Yes, I was a sandwich artist.
You were a sandwich artist?
I still know all the recipes. I know exactly how many olives you're supposed to put on a
You've still
6-inch
yet
sandwich.
to make me a sandwich.
Yeah, I know. I know. Actually, by the way, if did you
You'd
know
be
those
so
little tiny
charcuterie
black
board.
olives that they put on? I'm putting my hand up to show you how big they were. You're only supposed to put 3 olives on a 6-inch sandwich.
Oh, they put a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, they normally take a little handful, but technically, you're only supposed to put 3 olives, 3 tomatoes, 3 pickles.
This isn't the Subway podcast. Talk to aviation.
I know,
Make me
but
a sandwich later.
the
That's
sandwiches are really good. But the reason why I bring all that up is things have changed. I mean, now minimum wage is 4 times more. That's gonna make things more expensive in general. If you can't, I mean, if when fast food and just low, I don't know, low, I don't wanna call quality jobs because there's a lot of thinking, and I think there's a lot of growth, but, I
entry
don't know,
level.
entry-level jobs is what I'm thinking. Okay, entry-level jobs are where you learn how to work, right? You learn growth, you learn techniques, for your future, right? And now it's 4 times more expensive to do that. So naturally, flight instruction was we were paying flight instructors, let's say 20 bucks an hour, 4 times more than that right now. If we go 4x, I mean, that's 80 bucks an hour.
I mean, entry level jobs are entry level. You're not supposed to stay there forever. That's the whole idea behind minimum wage. But the thing is, people can't get those jobs anymore that pay more. They're just either not there, they're not coming back, or they're already taken and people are staying there. So the job market alone is just driving that. So instruction, of course, CFIs are either not getting picked up by the airlines right away, or any number of things are happening. You might see CFIs stay a little bit longer in some areas. And that's just the ebb and flow that we talk about all the time about
And that is
aviation.
changing this year, by the way.
Yep, it's already changing.
It is. It's changing a lot.
But last year, not as many CFIs were getting picked up. So we have more CFIs. They want to get paid more. And it's just trickles down to your wallet.
This year, we're seeing CFIs get picked up quite a bit. You're going to see younger instructors, again, people with less hours. So try to find those instructors that are mid-time hours right now. Those are the ones you want.
Which we just talked about a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, we did. We did.
But what are you supposed to do when you're paying $100 an hour?
I think that it's the same pricing as it was before. It's just different. Just like when people say, "Hey, it was $2.50 per hour when I was flight training back in 1975." Sure, it was, and also you can go get a burger for 25 cents an In-N-Out. Um, like
I
so,
wish.
so those are those. It's just prices change, and it's normally correlated with the marketplace. Some things get cheaper, by the way. Some things get more expensive. Think about it this way: a television 30 years ago, if you wanted a little baby TV, or 40, 50 years ago, whatever it was like $500. Now you can get a flat screen TV for like $100 that is like 52 inches, and it's excellent. It's gone down by like I don't know, like 95%. It's gone down in price. So some things do go down in price too. It's not everything goes up, but a lot of things do.
Labor is one
And
of those
labor is
things.
one of those things that will always just continuously go up because the cost of labor will go up, and which will correlate into wages going up for everybody else. Exactly. No matter what.
That was my next point because you might be paying more now, but by the time you're done in 2 or 3 years and you're at an airline, how much you're going to be paid? You're not getting paid the pre-COVID rate of minimum wage as a regional airline pilot anymore. Those days are gone. So you can recover the cost sooner. It just hurts now. One of the solutions, though, to actually getting around it, go to an area where the flight training is cheaper. Shop around at flight schools. If cost is your main driving factor, which is for a lot of people, time and cost, go somewhere cheaper. I've had people when we were working at Riverside at the flight school that were coming from Newport Beach because flying out of John Wayne was too expensive. So they would make the drive, an hour both ways, uphill in the snow,
Hmm.
just to get the cheaper flight instruction and cheaper plane rental. And it made sense for them. So if it's something that makes sense for you, definitely feasible because those costs do add up. The difference between 80 and $100 times 100 hours or 300, you're probably going to need an instruction.
Wow,
You know,
Carson, you're such a good podcaster because it goes straight into the next question.
did I can't even read today.
How much does location really matter when choosing where to train? Well, as Carson just alluded,
Man, I'm good.
I know he's a professional now. Uh, it does matter a lot for cost. It matters, but more often it matters because of weather. Weather. Okay, if you go to New York, I think there's going to be a lot more snow and rain and cold there, right? Or if you go to like North Dakota, which there is a fine aviation school in North Dakota, uh, but still, that's going to make it so you can't fly very often.
There's a reason all the popular flight training areas are south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you go,
Wherever you're gonna find warmer weather, you're gonna find more flying days typically,
yeah,
until it's too hot to fly, which is the thing, for everyone that's flying in colder areas. It does get too hot to fly down here.
it does. In California, it's too hot to fly. That's mostly because the airplanes aren't
You're gonna
really
get
equipped.
more Yeah, you're gonna get more sunny days, more tolerable days, more flying time, but also more competition, right? There's more airspace, there's more people are actually in the air, more people that are trying to get on the same schedules that you're flying. Things are just busier. So it depends on what you're trying to do, right? If you're trying to fly an airplane and cram it into 3 good months of northern weather flying, um, totally feasible. If you want to be flying every day, go to somewhere like Southern California, Phoenix, and you pretty much anywhere in Florida.
Florida,
Texas is a
Texas.
huge one. Yeah. I mean, these are all the states that are equipped to handle a lot of flying. So that's just a big thing. But another one, flying inland, Southern California, you're not gonna have as much fog in June gloom.
Yeah,
We get it real bad here.
I would even argue if you go flying like Bermuda or Palm Springs area, that's probably the best place to go, except for during the summer. Then maybe not so much.
So
But they get cut off on the weather because of the mountain range right there. So
yeah, but you just have to pick and choose based on when you're trying to fly. It's not so much what you're trying to do, right? We're all trying to fly in the same planes, going the same places, and doing the same amount of hours. But when are you flying? Are you going to be year-round pilot? Are you going to be flying in just the winter? Do you want experience with mountain flying? What are you trying to do? So pick the area that makes the most sense weather-wise and cost-wise. Those are the two big ones.
absolutely.
Cool. Enough about me talking. I want to hear you talk.
All right.
And I'm still in the zone, but
What's
I'll
the
get
next
out of
question?
What's the smartest way to use weather delays and canceled lessons productively?
Ooh, I love this one.
I know you have very strong opinions about
I do have very strong opinions on this. If you dedicated the time to train on that time slot, why are you letting it go? Keep the time slot. Okay. Just for example, I've had my gym trainer or my golf trainer cancel on me. I still go practice golf or I still go to the gym on those time windows that I've booked. I don't cancel them because I already had them set aside. I might as well continue. The same thing needs to happen when you're flying. And by the way, you should do it on the gym training and other stuff too. Um, but but you should definitely do it on your flying lessons. And the best way to go about it, if there is a weather cancellation, tell your instructor that you're coming in and that you would like to use a simulator. And I know you only get to use so much sim time towards your flight training, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about any of that. You get to use a whole bunch of it later on towards your ATP. So just pretend those hours don't count until you get closer to your ATP. Okay.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward for yourself. Okay. You're not paying it forward for anybody else, paying it forward for yourself. With that being said, if you go work on that sim, you're going to be learning lessons that day. Or if they don't have a simulator or the simulator is busy, still do a ground lesson. Go talk about the things that you were supposed to go do and fly. Go chair fly that day. Make sure you're doing something to continue, but do not cancel the lesson. Go change to sim or change to ground or do a hybrid of both. That is the best way to go about it. Now, if your flight instructor's sick or something like that and you can't do that, then you still should either go to the school and go see other pilots that are around there and go talk airplanes, go keep yourself motivated, right?
Walk around the airport.
Walk around the airport.
Or yeah, not a Charlie.
Yeah, yeah.
But go walk around the airport. Go make friends. Spend the time that you were already dedicating. Keep yourself in the same mindset that you were going to be in anyway. If it's something like a ground lesson or sim that you have to pay for, you were going to pay more for your flight lesson anyway. So why not just keep using the time? We've been huge advocates since day one of keeping a list of questions that you have that come up that you just want to ask a flight instructor. Now is the time to ask. Go work it out with the flight instructor. Go get your ground in.
Yeah, I would totally agree. So just keep on doing that. I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this one, but keep the time, continue going on.
You know what time it is, Carson?
Time's up, Brandon.
It's time to talk about one of our favorite companies.
Which company would that be?
Aviation Mentors is excited to be sponsored by the one and only Stratus Financial, dedicated to supporting the next generation of future aviators.
You know, Stratus Financial really understands the financial challenges that students face in pursuing their aviation dreams. That's why they offer student loans specifically tailored to aspiring pilots.
With competitive rates and flexible repayment plans, Stratus Financial helps take your aviation education to new heights.
So go visit their website today at www.stratus.finance. Just to be clear, that is not .com, it's .finance. And embark on your journey towards a sky full of possibilities.
Carson, it's time to get back to what we do best.
The show.
The show.
What's the best way to bounce back after a really discouraging flight lesson?
First off,
I know you've never had a bad flight lesson, but tell
First-
me what you would do.
first off, if you are a CFI, you need to give compliment sandwiches. And if you don't know what a compliment sandwich is, it's where you start off with something they did really well, something they did absolutely horribly, and then give them something again that they did well.
Brandon,
And then
you're a great podcast host, but you absolutely trashed the intro of this episode. But again, you're a great podcast host.
thanks for the compliment sandwich. By the way, I had to redo the intro on this one because I talked too
Just
fast.
2 times.
I had to do it too.
You're too excited.
I was too
That's
excited
okay.
to get going.
That's a compliment sandwich.
It's a compliment sandwich. It makes me feel good.
But there's
The
ways,
beginning and at the end. And in the middle, I learned a lesson.
Yeah. But there's ways to do it where you're talking to your student and you're not kicking them while they're down, right? A student who is not just starting is going to have some idea of how their lesson went already. You know, it's typically not a surprise when you say, hey, you messed up this. They already know. They know they messed up.
I usually ask students, and I say, how do you feel you did on your steep turns today? How do you feel you did on your stall recovery today?
And if they're plus and minus 500 feet and they're like, oh, I think I did great, then you have a different issue.
Yeah.
Then you can lay them into
Most of the time, the students understand what they screwed up on if they've been taught properly. And if you're a student, you should probably do some self-reflection as soon as you're done with that. Be like, oh, darn, I just missed, I missed my steep turns. I lost 300 feet.
I mean, a good student is harder on themselves than their teacher will be.
Exactly. So if they're really non-reflective or it's a really new concept for them and they don't know ACS standards and it's not check ride prep or something like that, then obviously you need to take a different approach and be like, oh, hey, you really entered, I'm using a steep turn for some reason. You really entered that steep turn. Excellent. You stayed exactly where you were supposed to be, except you lost some altitude. But the awesome part about it was at the end of it, you came up and you actually hit your wake. So there were some really good things, but one major bad thing about that. And that's an example of a compliment sandwich that you should probably give people, where that sounded really, really good because they did two good things in that maneuver. But there was one thing that made it not passable. So you need to bring that up and make sure that you practice that. And there's ways that instructors can have you practice just that portion of it as well at different points or even in a simulator. A simulator is harder to fly than an airplane is. So I would say you can do it like that. But
As a student,
how do you bounce back from that? Let's just say everything was trashed that day. Okay. I would say just know that you're bound to have those days.
and sometimes they may come in 2s and 3s.
And sometimes they're in 10s where you just can't figure out how to land.
Flight training is just hard. It's hard, and this is one of the reasons why. Because some days you're just inconsistent. You're not flying to your absolute best ability yet.
But you will have a breakthrough day. And once you have
It's
that breakthrough,
glorious.
you will be absolutely fantastically happy.
The more bad days you have leading up to the breakthrough, in fact, the better you feel.
Yeah.
It's downright euphoric when you just nail it and you're like, it clicks, you get it. As a CFI, what do you do when you're having a rough day?
Like as a CFI,
As a CFI, because CFIs have bad days too. Everyone's a person.
I mean, normally you're having a bad day because of external pressures.
You don't think CFIs just have a bad lesson where they weren't on it?
Of course, they're too tired, or it's normally they just failed their I'm safe checklist and they probably shouldn't have been working that day.
Yeah, but it's hard when you're contracted to work a certain.
Yeah, when you
Yeah,
have to go work, you got to figure it out.
what you gotta do.
Once you're a pilot and you're working for somebody, there's unless it's actually unsafe, you're going to go to work. Now, sometimes that's at the detriment to the student because the student isn't going to get as much out of that lesson, but
It's also just the way the industry works.
yeah, it's the way it works. But You may not get a lot out of the lesson, but you'll get the hours, which is what you're needed. What's needed for you to get your ratings or or get your certificates or even get your job. So it's true. I think let's do one more for the day, and let's think about
Top one right there.
this one. Perfect. So advanced planning questions students are asking earlier.
Which they should be. It means they're looking forward and doing research on their own, spending time.
All right. So here's the question. Should I be thinking about tailwheel, high performance, or complex endorsements during private pilot training? Carson, what's your opinion on this? Because I have one.
I'm going to break them down one at a time. I think tailwheel, unless you're flying in tailwheel, are going to be flying in tailwheel soon. Don't worry about it. That's
Mm.
I think that is a for fun one that you get to celebrate the fact that you earned your private pilot. That's the way I think about it. Because my for fun one, since I was never interested in flying a tailwheel until I saw some really cool ones, but I wasn't interested right off the
Like
bat.
a Cessna 120.
I gotta tell you, the Cessna 120 did not interest me. Maybe it's the fact that I'm a bigger guy, but I won't. No, a Citabria. That one got me. I wanted to do some aerobatics, and I thought that'd be fun. But I don't think tailwheel is something you should get right off the bat. Don't worry about it unless you're flying one. High performance, again, it's if you're gonna be flying one right off the bat and you're getting your private just for yourself, you want to go get a Cherokee 6 so you can fly around your family and friends right after. Those are high performance airplanes, typically. You're gonna want to go get one. So
all
don't
Cherokee 6 are high performance.
I wasn't sure if it was like the Arrow. We're only
No, all of them. They're either Cherokee 6 PA 32 260s or PA 32 300s. I believe there's a 301 for the T-tail Lance as well. But don't get me all started on
are you in like group
6s.
chats around Cherokee 6? And
No,
Vipers
I've owned like 2 or 3 of them. So actually, I've owned 2 different Cherokee 6 and a Lance. So I've owned at least 3
the Lance is one of
32s,
them. That's cool.
and I've probably flown like 6 of them. I used to fly people around the country on them.
Good damn.
They used to hire me to ferry them.
You're just full of secrets, huh?
Sorry, continue.
Anyway, unless you're planning on getting a high performance, it's not something that's a big concern. There's a couple different things, right? The complex endorsement, though, is a big one. I think everyone should have a complex endorsement during the private pilot.
During their private pilot?
Not during, immediately. Once you receive your private pilot certificate, I think that's the first thing you should go and do. Is get the
How
complex.
how do you think people should do that when here's actually a segue on this. How should people get complex endorsements when people are only flying TAAs?
Go and find a complex.
I guess so.
Go and find a complex. I mean, there's just something about learning how a gear works.
We just edited out something that Carson could not remember, and he could not remember what the 3 things were for a complex airplane.
I knew the first two.
Okay,
I
what's the
knew
first
I
2?
knew there was retractable landing gear,
Okay, second one.
variable pitch propeller,
Okay, and the third one.
and I was like, "What's the third one?" I was like, "This has to be something big and important." I was thinking about the parts of an airplane. I was thinking about the Piper Arrow. I was like, "Okay, what is that?" Okay, that's the pitch for the
Movable
movable flaps. And I was like, "Everyone's got movable flaps," and he's like, "My 120 doesn't." So
120 doesn't. Yeah.
you're right. That's on me. I apologize. But there's something back to what I was saying about learning how retractable landing gear works and getting in the good habits now. Even if you're not going to fly a plane that has retractable landing gear, Brandon, what do you and I still do when you're flying? You still check your gear, even
Yeah,
if it's
I do a gump
fixed
check.
landing gear.
Yeah, gas, undercarriage,
Undercarriage.
mixture,
The first
propeller.
G is not for gear, by the way.
It's gas.
Undercarriage, mixture.
Oh yeah, gas, undercarriage, mixture, propeller, and then S is for seat belts and safety switches. Yes, gumps. There we go.
But anyway, I think getting your complex immediately after your private it's a good way to start building the good habits now, because eventually you're going to fly a complex airplane. You know, you gotta. You at least have to know how more movable flaps work.
Yeah, that's
I'll tell you
true.
that part.
I think that if you are terrible with the rudder and you are having severe issues landing the airplane, and you just barely passed, and your landings are just okay, I think you should go get a tailwheel endorsement because it will make you better using the rudder. You will be a better pilot. It'll force you to do that. High performance, like Carson said, if you are not going to be flying a high performance airplane, there's no use in getting it.
I do think that there is some good lessons in high performance endorsement.
I mean, you're going to have to get it at some point, but you don't have to
But
get it right away.
I mean, learning how to fly faster, right? High performance airplane typically means faster, where things come at you quicker.
Things are different. The way you fly a high performance airplane, you fly a Cessna 172 is very different. People look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, you took all this energy flying upward.
Why are you gonna
Use it
just-
going down.
Yeah,
Yeah. Don't go into the red line area. Maybe even yellow, depending on what it's like outside.
yeah,
but
but you spent so much gas, energy, and time going up. Why wouldn't you descend just as fast than speed limits?
Well, I said this was going to be our last question, but when we talked about gumps, I wanted to mention something because I think this is a really big deal. As you said, G is gas, right? When we talk about gas being on the fullest tank, because that's what we're talking about there, gas on the fullest tank. Or it could also mean the fuel pump is on, but I use that
Or
as
it could
safety
mean
belts and
both
switches.
tanks, depending on the airplane. So you can't really generalize.
Correct. But I'm going to say if you're on short final, do not change tanks.
Oh no!
Do not
If
change tanks.
If something's working, don't mess with it right before you land.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like out of fuel, obviously you need to, but keep your tank on the same exact
But I
tank.
remember hearing about someone, I think it was at Riverside Airport, who was taking off and they were switching tanks, and they switched it and it went past the stopping point, so it was actually turning it off.
Yeah, I think there was an AD about that as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it could happen, right? Things get worn down. You might not catch it. You might not notice it.
Mhm.
But don't touch anything during a critical phase of flight.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah, there's no reason to. Well, I mean, don't touch anything. Do your gums check. So
Do
gas,
do-
make sure it's on the
do what
fullest
you have
tank.
to.
And if you're doing it maybe 10 miles away or something, then yeah, that's appropriate, right? When you're getting closer, do the undercarriage, put your gear down, verify gear is down, mixture, full in as if you're below the recommended altitude or density altitude.
I mean, like, there's a reason you don't put your gear down and do your undercarriage when you're on short final.
No, you do it.
Do things the right way, and don't do it when you're in a critical phase of flight and your only focus should be landing the plane
Exactly. So
or listening for a go around or paying attention for that.
yeah, precisely. So, all right. With that being said, I think we're going to call it a day today. If you'd like to reach out to either one of us, you know where to find us. You've listened to enough episodes, I'm sure. But it's Brandon at Carson at or producer at aviationmentors.com. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn. Like us on LinkedIn, please. We would love to be your friend on there. Just put friend from Aviation Mentors Podcast. We'd really appreciate that. Also, don't forget to do everything you're supposed to do on social media, which is like, follow, subscribe, share, all the things that really make us make an impact on the aviation industry and, of course, help grow the podcast. We help more student pilots like yourself. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening today.
Thank you, everyone. And let's wrap up for the day. Remember, I'm here to guide you in your aviation journey. So fly safe and enjoy the ride.